In this video, I'm going to talk about the VCA of the DFAM. In previous videos, we discussed the voltage-controlled oscillators, the mixer, and the filter section. This is going to be the voltage-controlled amplifier. And what this does is controls the volume coming out of the DFAM. The output level can be controlled in a couple of different ways, using the envelope and also the velocity of the sequencer. So the envelope has basically an attack and a decay. The attack is controlled just by this switch, and it's either fast or slow. The decay has more control as you have this knob that can go up and down. So each of the envelopes for the VCO and the filter have an attack time of 1 millisecond. Here you can set it to be a little bit slower by just clicking this down. So let's hear what that sounds like. And try to pay specific attention to how the sound starts. The second I push this, the sound begins. And if I turn it to slow, there's a slight delay in when I push it, it comes on a little bit slower. So I'd strongly recommend that you try this out on your own so you can tell when you're pushing it and going up. In fact, I'm going to turn down the envelopes of both the VCO and the filter. So all you're hearing right now is the sound just going through. You hear how there's still that kind of boom. And if we turn this down, or turn it to fast, it's just a bit of a softer attack. Most of the time, I leave it at fast because that's because percussion has fast attack. But the slow VCA can help if you're doing bass lines, or also to create kind of like a jazz brush effect. I found that the slow VCA works well for that. And lastly, the VCA decay, if you turn it all the way up, the sound just goes on almost forever. And if you turn it down, you can barely hear it at all. So this is kind of like how much time, how long it's stretched out. And as I said in the first video too, there's two different ways to get sound out of your DFAM. One is with the VCA out in the patchbay, which is what I'm using to go into my mixer. You could also use the 1/4 inch out in the back. If you were to rack mount this and take it out of its case, then this would be how you'd get sound out. So that is the VCA section. So now you have a good conceptual understanding of how each of the functions of sound generation and modification work on the DFAM. Now we get to get into the fun stuff, which is using the sequencer, using the patchbay, and making our own unique sounds coming out of this.